Had you seen many interactions between Chad and JJ before that?
No.
Let me bring in my guest. Joining us in Los Angeles, board-certified forensic psychiatrist, trial expert, witness, and columnist, Dr. Carol Lieberman.
Great.
Dr. Carol Lieberman, this dynamic is bizarre, but we're in the midst of this whole Daybell saga, so everything here is out of the norm. But for this little child, this had to be really frightening. Like, his whole world is turned upside down. I mean, he already had a tough life as a young child, was adopted by Charles and by Lori, and then Charles is gone, and then he's ripped up and moved out to the middle of nowhere in Idaho where he doesn't know anyone, and now this stranger or this man that he just met is disciplining him.
Well, of course, we know that JJ was autistic and got into these, had these sort of temper tantrums or out of control tantrums. I don't know that that means that there was something sort of inappropriate that went on, salacious that went on between JJ and Chad. But, here he is. No little boy, it's hard for him to understand why another man would be coming into the house. And children, especially autistic children, are very sensitive to feelings that are going on. And so he might well have experienced, not that he could describe it necessarily, but he could have well have felt that that Chad represented a threat, and that Chad, liked his mother, and so I don't think, the thing is that Chad really, I don't think that he was made much effort to try to connect to either of the children to whatever extent that he was with them, because that wasn't what he was interested in. He just cared about Lori and about their time together. And, only to the extent that maybe making nice to the kids would make her like him more. But I don't think he wasn't a warm fuzzy.
No, I would not. That's one word I would not use to describe, or two words I would not use to describe Chad Daybell. So, Dr. Carol Lieberman, this has been an issue we've talked about throughout this story and cases. We've been covering it for years now. Light and dark, and is it Chad basically with some level of plausible deniability, saying you're dark, you're light, and then kind of turns his head, whatever happens, happens? Or do you think it's Lori who is determining the lightness and darkness of her own children without Chad manipulating her, and she's just trying to speed up the process? What are your thoughts there?
Well, if you remember when we talked about it before with her trial, I was talking about how it was a folie à deux, how they connect together perfectly and make each other, do things that are a little crazy or a little more, maybe that they wouldn't have thought of to do by themselves. But, in today's trial, the texts were really amazing. I mean, that is a very interesting part of this case, because it shows how manipulative they each were of each other. Chad would say, I'm going to leave you alone now. And of course, that fed into her borderline fear of abandonment. And so then she would come back and send him pictures of her in a bathing suit. And then she would talk about, how she can't be with him anymore with, he's not going to be with her. He's with his family and all of that. They were on a trip. And if he should go back and give love to his family, and she'll leave him alone. I mean, they were just playing into each other's psychopathology. They didn't want to leave each other. They didn't want to be abandoned by each other. And so it was so easy to just manipulate. Like, in other words, if you take away the zombies, if you take away the zombies and all of that stuff, it's just like any relationship, except that they have a lot of psychopathology.
Absolutely. We're out of time for tonight, but the trial continues. Dr. Carol Lieberman, we'll see you again really, really soon.